Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk all about my current favorite things. And this video has just taken so many ebbs and flows over the years. It started as a monthly video. I turned it into quarterly with categories, and now I just share 10 of my current favorite things that I'm loving. Some of these things are actual physical products. Some of them are concepts or ideas or goal tips. Some of them, like, there's just a lot of random things. I'm looking at this list and it is just an assortment of things, which does now include pregnancy related items. So the last quarterly favorites video I did back in March, I knew I was pregnant, but I was not sharing it publicly yet. So I did not include any of my pregnancy favorites, which honestly at the time would have been like saltines and Sprite. But I was joking with my editor that a lot of those favorites were like my second tier favorites, because all of my real favorites were very like first trimester morning sickness, not morning sickness, whoever decided that, all day sickness focused. That said, now that I have shared and we are talking about it, I do have a couple of items that are specifically pregnancy focused that are favorites right now. However, I do think depending on you and your preferences, they could apply to you as well. Regardless, I'm going to put all of those at the end. I got that idea from one of my favorite YouTubers, Jessica Braun, who does her favorites videos that way, where she does all her like beauty and lifestyle stuff first and then saves like her mom kids favorites for the end. So that is how I'm gonna do it in this video. We're gonna start with my generic favorites, and then I'll do the pregnancy ones at the end. But again, you might want to check those out because, again, depending on who you are, some of these might be helpful. So the first thing I want to talk about are some playlists that I have been loving. So I have been struggling to find something to listen to while I've been doing some work stuff. I've been doing a lot of like behind the scene work projects this quarter compared to some of my prior quarters. And for the longest time, I listened to this Pandora station that was called like Coffee House Covers, and I did really like it, but I wanted something fresh. And so I kind of started browsing on YouTube, and I ended up falling in love with all of these Disney instrumental playlists. And I will link my favorites down below, but there are a couple of different ones. Like one is piano, one is like jazz, and they are just my favorite playlists to listen to when I'm trying to like head down, get a bunch of work done. So if you are a Disney fan like me and you're looking for some like work focused playlists to have on in the background, highly recommend these. By the way, I should tell you, I don't have any book favorites this quarter. I have finished one fiction book since the last quarter, and I do not really recommend it. And then for nonfiction, I'm in the middle of a bunch of pregnancy books, and I don't feel comfortable recommending or not recommending those until like I'm done with the whole process. So I'll share those probably later in the year. But as always, if you want a current update on what books I'm reading and or finishing and or my thoughts on them, I do always share that in my monthly newsletter. If you want to sign up for my email list, I'll leave that link down below. I send out once a month on the first Monday of the month, a monthly newsletter that has what I read that month, a personal life update, and then some sort of goal related tip or recommendation. Okay, the next favorite I want to talk about, I have used for years. I have had this app. It's an app on my phone. I have had it for a very long time. In fact, I probably talked about it in a favorites video years ago, because this month I celebrated 5 years on YouTube, which is mind-blowing to me. Anyways, it is an app that I use to track the TV shows that I'm watching. And some of you might be thinking like, that seems unnecessary, or like, I don't watch enough TV, that wouldn't be helpful for me. This is not for you. If you are also somebody who has TiVo, who like tracks whether they've watched episodes of stuff because they record everything, this is also not for you. This app is good for those of you who don't have TiVo or cable of any kind. Also, I know TiVo is a brand and it's like DVR, maybe is that the actual like, just the word for it? I don't know. It's for those of you like me who do not have cable, and I just watch TV show episodes on like Hulu, or I watch Top Chef like on the actual Bravo website or whatever. And you're trying to keep up with episodes that have come out and have you watched them. Now, again, I've had this app for years, and for the most part, it hasn't always been necessary. But with my pregnancy brain, as it has been in the last couple of months and I can't remember anything, I have been reminded how much I love this app and thought it would be helpful to share for those of you, whether you have pregnancy brain or mom brain, or you just struggle to remember if you finished an episode and keeping it all organized. This app has absolutely made a difference for me. It's called TV Club, and you literally put the shows in that you're watching and you check off the episodes as you finish them, and then it populates new episodes when they come out. And so I also use it to see like, is there a new episode of this, or when is the season finale? One of my friends that lives here in Chicago, we both still love and watch Grey's Anatomy. Yes, we are still hanging on, and we have been trying to watch some of the episodes together, and so we'll be like, is there an episode this week? And I can use that app to check it as well. So that might seem like a silly thing, but I have been loving it lately. All right, the next favorite is kind of just a concept or goal tip. And if you watch my goals videos, this probably won't surprise you because it's been a pretty prominent thing in my goals the last couple of months. And that is starting with where you're at. Not picking a goal, especially if it's a numerical goal, that is a massive jump from something that you've done before. It can be so easy to be like, oh, well, the recommendation is for me to drink this much water, so I'm gonna set a water goal at that amount. If you are currently drinking 1 8-ounce cup a day and you jump to whatever that recommended amount is, it can be very difficult to hit that and then you get discouraged. I always recommend, and this is what I also always do with one-on-one clients, is that you start with where you're at. So if you are drinking 1 8-ounce cup a day of water, your goal next week is 2. And that's gonna be your goal until 2 is your norm. And then once 2, you're consistent with that, then we'll up it to 3. And if you're using something bigger than 8 ounce, by the way, I also always recommend measuring water in like a cup, but I'm using it as an example right now. Maybe it's 1.5 of something like this, but starting with where you're at. And now sometimes that involves tracking in order to know what that number is. For something like water, when I was going to set a water goal, I tracked my actual numbers for, I think I did a week before I jumped into what my goal was actually going to be. Now, the beauty of technology is that sometimes you can find those numbers buried within your technology. So for example, my Apple Watch tells me all of my steps and my Apple Watch stats, and I use those numbers to start with where I was at and set goals for the following month. Same thing with my Instagram time limit. My phone tracks all of that for me. So I pulled those numbers from my phone, all of how much time I spent on Instagram every day, took the average, and then set my goal something slightly lower than that. Not trying to change it drastically, but I'm starting with where I'm at, and I'm either increasing or decreasing, depending on the goal, slightly from there. So that is something that I have been loving the last couple of months, and it's probably very apparent in my goals that I have been sharing. And so I just wanted to throw that in here and remind you of that as well. All right, the next thing is an actual object that I have owned for a long time and never actually talked about them. And over the years, I feel like I should say what it is before I continue the story. Over the years, I've lost a couple, and I recently replaced them, which means I still carry them at Target. And I was like, oh, I need to talk about these. And it is these reusable straws. So I am a straw person through and through. Like I love to drink pretty much anything unless it's like hot coffee or red wine. I'm drinking it out of a straw. And at home, I always use reusable straws. Now, I don't like the taste of metal straws. They just don't do it for me. Even with the plastic thing on it, I don't like metal straws. And for a while, I was using these thinner plastic straws that were kind of more, or they tried to mimic more like a disposable plastic straw. But those that I had, at least the ones I had, were pretty flimsy. They kept breaking in the dishwasher. So like it just wasn't working. And they were hard to clean because they were much thinner. So these that I have from Target are a little bit wider, and I use them for everything from coffee to water to smoothies. Like I use them for everything, and they're dishwasher safe. Sometimes if I have it with a smoothie, you do need to get in there with a little brush and clean it. But otherwise, if I just have it with coffee, I throw it in the dishwasher, and I just replace, I still had a couple of them, but I bought the set so now I have a whole big set of them, and just wanted to tell you how much I love them. All right, next up on my list is also not new in any way, shape, or form, but something that I don't think I've ever talked about in a favorites video, and I get asked about a lot. So I wanted to incorporate it. It's kind of a category so much as like one thing, and it is all of my favorite writing utensils. At this point, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to try and play with new pens and markers and all the things, but I basically use the same ones all the time. And so I thought I would tell you what those are. For pens, actual pens, it is a Papermate Flare, a black Papermate Flare. That is my pen of choice. It is the pen I always use. If you see me writing in a video, that's the pen that I'm using. It is my favorite pen. And that, like, I pretty much don't use any other pen unless it has to be permanent. Then the next up in this category is the mild liner highlighters. And you've probably heard of these because I know they get talked about a lot, but I can't not talk about them because I use them for so many things. I use them for my goal planner to color coordinate and highlight my goals. I use them in my daily planner to highlight the different sections, and my weekly planner. And I just love their shade. I actually prefer the brighter colors, but there's not annoying and bright and neon like a regular highlighter, but they're also not a marker, like the darkness of a marker. And so they are my favorite. I have what I feel like is all of the colors, except a lot of the new ones that have been coming out. I just watched Cindy talk about this in one of her videos, or kind of the more pastel colors, which are my colors anyway. I tend to lean, like the bright set I use all the time. And then the last thing in this category are the Zig dot markers. And this is the marker that I use to make a little check mark dot on my weekly, on my daily. I used to use it in my goal planner, and then I decided to do the highlight instead, but I still love my Zig markers. And I also recently got some new colors because I had like the basic set from Amazon for the longest time. And then I don't remember where I saw that there are more colors, but you can't get them individually unless you order from Jet Pens. And so I finally just placed an order on Jet Pens and got like the bright pink and the bright blue, and the bright pink was really what I was going for. And I'm so glad that I did that because I use them all the time. I also use them in my HB90 planner to color coordinate my business goals and all the tasks that I do each week for my business. All right, the next thing on my list, even though not a beauty YouTuber at all, but something I've been loving this quarter, is the lipstick lip gloss that I have on my lips. I don't know what it actually is. I got it during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale in March. And normally when I shop the sale, I'm either getting something that I've already used that I know that I love, or I am replacing something that I need, like a face wash or something, and I may be getting a new to me product, but I'm replacing something that I already use. This was kind of not a splurge buy because it was half off for the sale, but it was like a product I wouldn't normally have picked up. But I watch a lot of like YouTube around that time of like the things that the beauty YouTubers recommend for the sale. And my sister also swore by them, and she was the person I was going with to Ulta during the sale. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And it is these Tarte, I'm not gonna say the word right, so I'm not even gonna try, but they're these Lip Plump from Tarte. And so the reason I'm not sure if it's a gloss or a stick, is that because it like comes up like this, and then you put it on like this. So it feels like I'm putting it on like a lipstick and not like a gloss, but obviously it leaves my lips very glossy. Now, I've never really been a big gloss person, especially if I'm gonna be outside at all. Like living in New York, I was going to have to go outside somehow to get to where I needed to be. And the gloss was gonna get stuck in my hair, always. That's how it always felt. And so it wasn't worth it. But I have been having such dry lips lately. I don't know if it's pregnancy side effect, if it's moving to Chicago, not drinking enough water, I don't know. I've had really dry lips. So using this, I just it feels good on my lips, and I feel like it looks better. It makes my lips look good. Normally, I am always either chapstick or liquid lip. Like I am a liquid lipstick, so it doesn't move, doesn't budge. But my dry lips, the liquid lipsticks just don't look good. So when I want color, I have been using this, and I am gonna be so sad if this ends before, if I run out of this before the next sale, and who knows, it may not even be as part of the next sale. Also, I think the color I got was mixed berry, but it doesn't say it on here anywhere. So I cannot confirm nor deny that's the actual color, but I do wanna rave about the product because I use it all the time. All right, the last favorite before we move into the pregnancy ones is not a cop out, but like not necessarily, like I want these videos to be things you can either go buy yourself or implement yourself. And this one is really hard, but for you, this one might be hard for you to do. But if I think back on the last quarter and I really think about the things, when I think about favorites, I think about the things or situations, objects, whatever, that have been making me happy that are new. Like a lot of it is the same. I think I talked about this maybe in last quarter's favorites, about like how a lot of my favorites have remained the same over the years. So when I think about Q2 and what has been new in Q2 that has been making me happy, it is living close to family. I have not lived this close to family since I was 18. I mean, even when I was in college and I was in Texas, I was an hour and a half from my dad and stepmom and brothers in San Antonio. But then moving to New York right after college, I have not lived close to family in 10 years. I've not lived within driving distance. And so to be this close to my mom and my stepdad and my sister, my brother, and my other brother, my future sister-in-law, they're engaged now when I'm filming this video. I can finally start to talk about that. It is just so nice. Like it is, I'm gonna try not to tear up while I talk about this. It is nice for so many reasons. I could not, and this was always the plan, was that we would not go through this next phase of life without help from family. I could not imagine doing what we're doing right now without their help. My mom has been so helpful getting things ready for the baby, even just like helping us around the house with stuff, because I spend my energy of the day working instead of doing something. And so my mom helps. It is just so, like, I feel like it would be impossible. Like, it would not be feasible. And so that is so nice. Obviously for my own mental health, like being able to see them and spend time with them and just like laugh and like get out of the house and do things. And it has made such an impact on me. And so I share that because I know it's not always easy, and maybe you're sitting there and you're like, well, I can't do that. Like, I could not move to be near family. And that is when you really, I think, focus on those friendships that are like family and cultivating those relationships. Like, could we have made it happen in New York? Absolutely. Like, we would have found a way, and we would have had to ask for help from some of those friends and hopefully like fostered some relationships and made them even closer. But if it is on your mind or you ever thought about it, or you're like debating, it has absolutely changed my life for the better. And so I couldn't make a video about things I've been loving and not talk about it. Okay, the last three favorites, again, are going to be somewhat pregnancy specific. They are for me anyways, but I think even if you're not pregnant, all three of these things are things you could use in some way, shape, or form. The first one is a nightgown. So I have been struggling because I don't want anything on my stomach. And it's, even if I have like pajamas or sweatpants that are huge, it's just not comfortable. And so I bought this nightgown from Target. It was 20 bucks. It is so freaking soft and I'm obsessed. I don't know that I'm ever gonna wear like real pajamas ever again. Like, I mean, I never say never, but right now I just want nightgowns over and over. I've been checking like TJ Maxx and Marshalls every time we go, although I could just buy these Target ones and just only wear these. I absolutely love it. Like, when it is dirty and I don't have a full load of laundry to do, now that we have like a laundry not in unit, and I talk more about that in my goals videos, I get very sad that I can't wear my nightgown. So if you don't like something on your stomach or touching your bottom half, or you just want to try it, I'm obsessed with this Target nightgown. All right, the next thing is my friend Justina's prenatal program. Now, I have talked about her and her YouTube channel for a long time now. I'll leave it linked down below if you've never heard me talk about it, but she also has a lot of workouts on her website. I think she said the other day there's over like 800 workouts that you can either buy individually, or rent, I think it's rent, individually to do it, or you sign up and she has a new tier that's $25 a month. Really, that's the favorite, I guess, that I need to talk about, is for $25 a month, I am part of her program and I get access to these 800 videos. Now, a subset of that now is her prenatal videos. She got certified in pre and postnatal fitness and personal training and created a program with videos. I love a workout program. It is so nice to just like print off a calendar and be like, this is what I'm supposed to do on these days, and have all of those videos that I know are safe, and not only safe, but beneficial for me and my body as we prepare for pregnancy and then labor and then motherhood. And I am just, the timing that she released this program worked out very well for my life. But if you are currently expecting, also, try the prenatal ones, or if you just had a baby, you can try the postnatal ones. I'm excited to try those. Obviously, I can't personally vouch for the postnatal ones. I can vouch for the prenatal ones, and I can vouch for a lot of the other ones. If you're not pregnant or planning to get pregnant, she has tons of other workouts on her website too, and for $25 a month, all of these workout videos. And she has other programs as well. Like, she has a Broadway Lovers program. She has a running support, I think there's a running support one, because she recently did a race, and so she created a program about that. Like, there are so many options on her website. If you're looking for a new fitness, especially if you're somebody who works out at home, highly recommend her. All right, and then the last thing, which, man, do not tell my husband that I am including this in a favorites video, because he is gonna be like, I was right. So let's rewind a smidge. Last fall-ish, my husband was struggling with heartburn, and I'm not gonna go through all of his medical, that's his private situation. But one of the things that his doctor recommended was for him to buy a wedge pillow for him to sleep at an incline to help with his heartburn at night. And when he went to buy them, it was right around Black Friday, and it was like a sale. It was a 2-for-1 sale. So he bought 2. And when they arrived at our house, he took his out, and it was huge. And he took up his whole side of the bed. And he was like, but it was 2, so you can use it too. You can use the other one. And I was like, I don't want to sleep at an angle. I want to sleep horizontal. I'm not struggling with heartburn, and so I don't want that. And so it stayed in the box. It lived in the box for months. And then pregnancy heartburn kicked in. And that has been a big symptom for me. And so I was finally like, okay, I'm gonna try your Wedge Pillow. And it made such a difference. Like, it made such a difference. So pregnant or not, if heartburn is something that you struggle with or somebody in your family struggles with, it is not as comfortable to sleep at an incline, but man, it feels good. So that is my last favorite, something I use literally every day. And when we travel, I notice that I don't have it and ask for extra pillows and like try and stack myself up as much as I can. But that is my last favorite. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, entertaining, interesting, one of those things. If you did like it, if you would please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know why I'm not doing this intro well. And it is, and I'm throwing things around. I am. I do have, even though not a beauty YouTuber, let me try that whole thing again. What is the word I'm looking for?